Medellin, number one, aside from the safety, right? That is number one. Nobody, I don't think no country can dethrone it. Um, and then I would say, well, actually, Argentina, man, Buenos Aires. It's from what I've heard, it's cheaper than Colombia. I think I'm going to be going there in a few weeks here. I'm going to be taking off again. I think I'm going to hit that up first. I think they offer tremendous value. To the likes we're never going to see ever again in history. I mean, they got steak dinners and stuff like that for cheap. I'm seeing it on YouTube and all this other stuff. But the women, they're just not as attractive from what I'm seeing. They're really, really eager and stuff like that. But I'm just seeing it's a lot of 6 and 7s. They're not that attractive, unfortunately.
Yeah, see, I've heard mixed reviews. I thought the women in Buenos Aires were on average, and they had a good amount of beautiful ones, but it wasn't just like all day, every day head turning. It was maybe you see 5 of them a day. Versus here in Manaus, this is like 5 every 30 minutes at the least. You go to the mall, it's fucking nuts. Rio is like that, Sao Paulo is like that. But Buenos Aires, I didn't find myself just being shocked constantly. So I could agree with you on that one.
Yeah, and everybody, the way I look at like rating scale is that everybody has a different. My 10 might be different from your 10. Your 10 is going to be different from my 10. So everybody has a different. A 10 to me might be a 7 to you. A 7 to you might be a 10 to me. Like there was this one chick, Casey had on his channel. I think she was from Manaus, and she was with him on Sao Paulo. In Sao Paulo, to me that's a 10. She's gorgeous. She's a Pocahontas. To me that's a 10. But other guys might say, "Hey, man, that's a 7, or that's an 8, or that's a 5." Some guys might even say it's a 5, but to me, that's a full blown 10.
No, I know who you're talking about. She's a 10 to me too. You can't
Yeah.
really look at her no other type of way. Yeah, I would definitely agree with you. So would you say that, because I see Casey's in the chat and he said that in Buenos Aires that, and I could agree with him too, that you don't really have any leverage with being a foreigner there. Like that doesn't really give you a plus.
So with Buenos Aires, man, from what I've been seeing, man, cold approach and stuff, that they're not used to that. They're not used to being approached by a stranger on the street, talking about you know, talking about get your number or something like that. That culture doesn't exist over there, is from what I'm seeing, man. They're not used to it. I guess men don't do that over there. That cold approach stuff and running up on people. They're more like Europeans, man. Which, as if you do that Medellin or Colombia, you good all day, man. I gave you guys the blueprint, man. Go from 10 a.m. to about 3 p.m. Monday through Thursday. Go to these malls, go to these shops, and just go in, boom, boom, boom. And these chicks are pretty receptive and everything like that. And if they got a job, they're working, then they're probably not working women, working women of the night and stuff like that.
So earlier you mentioned you would have a trifecta because you didn't want to experience cold weather and you didn't want to get tired of one place. What are 3 countries that you would live in all at the same time?
Yeah, so I'm looking at that little quarter pocket right there. Maybe Brazil, Uruguay, Paraguay, and Buenos Aires. I'm looking at that little pocket right there. I think for me, Asia, Thailand, all those stuff. I'm just not attracted to those women at this point. I'm gonna force myself to go in future, just to see it because you might like it. But I just don't find myself attracted to the Asian women at this point. I think I'm a South America kind of guy.
Well, but if you want to get away from cold weather, if you stay in that pocket, it's going to be cold in all 3 spots at one time. Would you ever consider doing adding Europe and Africa to your trifecta too?
So I've been told Paraguay is just hot all the time.
No.
It's not hot all the time. They're saying that Paraguay, like Asuncion, they said that it's really hot in the summertime. It's just unbearable, and then normal, it's just like normal hot. That's what I've been told. I haven't been there. I'm not sure.
So when I got there in December, January, it was ridiculously hot. Yeah,
Yeah.
I can bear it because I like the heat, but some people I could see they couldn't take it. But in the wintertime, when I came back from the States, which was May 1st, I was wearing a jacket, basically a fall jacket. Like I had on hoodies, like it was very cold for like 3 weeks straight. So
Um.
they
uh, So
do have a winter time there though.
So that wouldn't work for me, brother, because I'm just not willing to tolerate any kind of cold. Maybe I'll do Spain or Portugal or something like that. But if it lines up with the warm weather, but I'm just not willing to do that kind of cold, man.
Because what I'm thinking about for my trifecta is, or at least if I'm going to do two places, Kenya will be one of them for sure. Another one in Brazil, and maybe one place in Europe. But I'm about to go to Europe next week because I don't know if I want to live in Europe. But it would be in between those three for sure. Um, what country in Europe would you say that you would lean towards the most?
I would probably say Spain or Portugal for me. And then Africa, I would say South Africa. But the problem is you have to line these countries up to make it make sense for you. So you're in a warm climate all the time. So you got to choose which three or which four, and then are they gonna be in warm weather when you want to be there? So it's kind of tough.
Yeah, it might make sense. Like for me, maybe after I get a girlfriend, because I'm not really into Asian chicks either. So, like Thailand is pretty much always hot. I've seen some expats that I know out there wear long sleeves, but man, I've been in Thailand in October, January. I've been there in April, and it was never cold. So I don't know what time of year it may be cooler there, but it was never cool when I was there. But I know if you are when it like right now it's wintertime in Africa and it's wintertime here in South America. So if you're in Uruguay or Argentina right now, or even Chile, like it's snowing there, in a lot of those places. In Africa right now, around this time last year, it was very cold,
Ooh.
and even in South Africa, even in all that shit was cold at the same time. Maybe not West Africa, but I know Tanzania, not Uruguay, Kenya, Rwanda, Uganda, not so much Uganda, but Rwanda, Zambia, all was shivering cold at nighttime. So Europe at that time, Europe was scorching hot though. But the thing about Europe is if you don't like cold, you can only live in Europe 2 or 3 months. So you'd have to spend 2 or 3 months there, some time in South America, and if you want hot weather all the time, from what I've seen, you can go to Thailand, and it'll
Okay.
be constantly hot.
Now, now the thing is, and I don't want to challenge you, but I got a guy who lives down there in Paraguay. He lives there about 9 months out of the year. He says it's hot all year long. He says it's really hot in the summertime, and then he says in the wintertime it's just like mild. So to my knowledge, there wasn't no cold, no snow there. That's the first time I'm hearing that. Hey, it was actually cold because he's there 9 months out of the year, and then I think 3 months he's in Dubai.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I heard that it's off and on cold in Paraguay during the winter because when I was there for 2 or 3 weeks straight, it was cold. It was impossible almost to wear shorts. I had to wear a jacket
Wow.
and jeans. But then right after I left, my homeboy Jason that's living out there, he told me that it was back 80 degrees, but it fluctuates like that in the winter in the winter time in Paraguay. So you
And
will experience it though.
let me ask you a quick question, bro. Paraguay, Argentina, Uruguay, females based on like attraction. What, like how pretty are they? Which country has out of those three there?
I would say I like Uruguay the most. The only thing is it's very expensive, but the chicks are very independent without the boss bitch attitude. So like they have their own cars. They'll pay for your stuff. Not that I need them to, but they do it without you asking. You know, like dates and stuff like that. And they have their own place. Like they're not desperate. But they I don't know. And Paraguay is different, especially I mean, it's like this in Asuncion too. Like most of the chicks in Asuncion don't have, money like that. Like
But
there's still a big wealth gap there.
would you say out of those three, you would say Uruguay had the most attractive females?
Yeah, yeah. It's
Okay,
because
interesting.
they were a good mix in between Brazilian, Argentina, and then they had like their own little look. But they had this year. They have a very unique look. They have a European look to them as well, and
Because
it's more to do.
mm,
Like
Because another,
Paraguay was too boring, man. I went to 2 cities in Paraguay, and it was no, not a museum. Nothing to do. Like just the mall, restaurant, gym, go home.
yeah, I think that might be a hidden gem there, Uruguay, because I'm finding out the farther I go, the better treatment I get. I'm trying to get away from Americans, and I'm trying to go far. I don't want to be near Americans. I don't want to be close to the States because I'm finding out the further I go, the better experience I have, the better I'm treated, the further I go. And so Uruguay, it might be a good gatekeeper because the price is high and nobody goes there, nobody knows. I'm seeing a lot of stuff on Paraguay now on YouTube, people, starting to go there. So we'll see what happens there.
Yeah, the thing about Paraguay is people can go there, but like that's a place that you have to go to live. Like it's a family town. First of all, from what I've seen outside of Asuncion, it doesn't get any better because I went to Ciudad del Este before I went to Brazil, and that was like being in a third world country almost.
Wow.
Yeah, it was completely different there. Little sweatshop looking markets all alongside the street and shit like that. Yeah, that kind of stuff. No, but Uruguay is good, like you said, because the price is high. There's some Americans out there, but it's like you almost have to look for them. Versus Medellin, you just gonna constantly come across them.
And I have to say this about like the females in Medellin, like yeah, there's nines and tens out there. There's a lot of them, but it's getting harder and harder to get to those females. Most of them are into SW work anyway, but it's getting harder. You're better off going to a further place, maybe like a Paraguay, Uruguay, or Argentina, and targeting the eights, nines, and tens there because you're going to have less competition. Because although there's a lot of them in Medellin, there's just so many damn gringos, and they're being geo targeted on Instagram by everywhere, by Arabs, by people in Europe. I mean, it's just insane. So I would say it's not even that good of a value anymore as far as female because there's a lot of eights, nines, a lot of attractive females, but you can't even touch them because there's weekend warriors and people with more money than you. And so, you're better off just trying to chase eights, nines, and tens, maybe in Brazil or one of these countries that's further, Uruguay, Paraguay.
Well, one thing I'm noticing worldwide, man, is you can't really going for the chicks that's like nines and tens is super, super difficult. Even it doesn't really matter. Even when I was in Kenya, like yes, it's more realistic in these other countries, but yeah, go chasing after nines and tens, you got to have a lot of patience. A lot of
I,
patience.
I would deem it almost as impossible. It's just a nine or a ten. It's just not normal. They're not everywhere. They're very few and far in between. I would almost say it's impossible, and then I would almost say it's impossible organically. I would say it's just impossible organically. I mean, that's just crazy because, and this is what I talk about on my channel. Go Abroad Now is my channel, guys. And this is what people don't know is that these females in these third world countries over there in South America, they don't have no education. They don't have no Joe Biden to get them education, man. It's a totally different system. If they have beauty, they have to monetize that beauty to get them out the hood. That's their only chance of getting out the hood.
Yeah, yeah.